was born in 1986 to my mum and dad. My dad was training to be a pastor, a vicar, and my mum was just going through college. But I didn't last long. I was born in Ipswich, and then I moved out to the countryside. And so in 1989, when I was 3, it was entirely new surroundings. And new surroundings aren't a common thread through my story, but they make a big difference. In 1991, I went to Great Orme Primary School. I was trying to find out who I was, growing up in this small village full of a few kids and not much else going on really. While it was full of distractions at primary school, it wasn't until 1997 that I went to high school and I discovered everything. Discovered punk rock, discovered rebellion, discovered so much of what would really shape who I was gonna be. And by 1999, music was everything to me. I was spending all my time discovering new bands, finding out what they were about, and discovering who they really were. The next year, in the year 2000, I started to stray away. I was playing in bands with friends and playing music with other bands as well. We played shows, and it was a really difficult time. I was just a kid. I was only 14. Is at that point I was testing God. I was saying, who am I really meant to be? Do I belong in this Christian world, or do I belong somewhere else? Fast forward 2 years to 2002. I'm 16. I got my first girlfriend, who I ended up being with for a full 3 years. I'm breaking all the rules. I'm out drinking with my friends, and I'm out doing things that I absolutely should not be doing. But I'm falling further and further away from who I really am. In 2003, I'm starting college. I'm skipping classes. I'm breaking all the rules. I'm missing out on business studies, which seems laughable now because I spend my life managing a business. And I was spending loads of times with my friends. I cut my hair into a mohawk. I went to college because I thought I wanted to make computer games. Quite quickly learned that that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. And because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I started to just run away from it, started to rebel. In 2004, I moved to this city. This is Coventry. In 2005, I broke up with that girlfriend. I found out she was seeing other people and cheating on me. So when I met someone who introduced this Christian heavy music to me, it turned everything around. See, in 2005, I started making music for God. I started going to Nexus Music College, and I very quickly found my first band. That band was Redemption Awaits. We play this music, it's kind of like Hopesful, kind of like Norma Jean inspired. I think we had some metal influences. It was chaotic Christian music. In 2006, I finally started working in Coventry. I'd been working part-time while I was at Nexus, and it was a whole new thing opening up to the world of work. And that summer I met a really good friend, the guy who's going to be my best man, this guy called Dave Boyle. He really opened my eyes to the community that was going on in Coventry. It was later that year that I started making my own zine called JXC magazine, and I started really engaging in the Christian hardcore scene in the UK. It made me think about radically who I was, and in 2006 I became vegan. Gone vegetarian a couple of years prior, before I was living in Coventry for a bet. By the time 2006 came around, I knew enough about what went on with animals and what went on with the dairy and the egg industry, and I made that conscious choice to go vegan. There are many Bible verses that apply to my life, but in 2007 my body is a temple of the living God really came to pass when I decided to become straight edge. So I gave up the smoking, the drinking, the drugs, and again, it's never as quick and easy as that. The following year in 2008, I traveled away for the first time. I went to America with my friend and got to see New York and Boston. I got to see life abroad. In 2008, I also spent time putting on my first show. I gathered together those Christian hardcore bands that I got close with and interviewed and wanted to talk to, and we put on a show in Birmingham City, and it was incredible. It was really amazing watching a community of people starting to come together and starting to build something. Later that year in 2008, I went abroad again to Germany. I met my soon-to-be wife and the mother of my child, and we went to Freakstock Festival. I bumped into people like Shane Claiborne, who wrote Jesus for President, and radicalized some ideas in my head about who Jesus really was, that maybe he was an anarchist, maybe he was someone who had a lot more to say than we first thought. In 2008, I realized that working in an office and working full-time was not for me, and so I took the opportunity to go work somewhere that I thought would really be me. And so I started working at Lush Cosmetics. And Lush for me has always been a safe haven. It was something I discovered when I first moved to Coventry. But with that new joy always brings challenges, and the following year was the year that I really started engaging with putting on shows. I was promoting more than I ever had, and in 2009 I put on so many shows. I remember taking so many risks and trying to start again. I lost a lot of money. Some really valuable lessons that year about taking care of what I had and trying to make the best out of what we had. By the end of 2009, I really had to slow down. God was doing amazing things. I was still putting out zines and still really celebrating who I was, but I needed to stop for a moment. In 2010, things started to slow down, but pick up again. I realized that putting on shows is a really great expression of who I was. I started to talk to some friends that were at Nexus that I went to, that Christian music college, and we started a band called We Are Revival. I definitely wouldn't be the same person I would be today if it wasn't for We Are Revival, if it wasn't for Josh, if it wasn't for Steve, if it wasn't for people like Dougal that would help me get out and get on the way and help us promote shows, help us tour. We toured the UK twice, almost in full, played up and down in Scotland and down in London many times with friends. We played with my favourite bands in Conduit, and we celebrated their music and celebrated Jesus together. And in 2010, when that band was starting, I also got to travel to America again. I went to Cornerstone Festival, and it opened my eyes to what Christian music could really be like. That music doesn't just have to be rebellious, but if it is, that's fantastic, but music can be for everything that's good. I don't know if it's God speaking to me or whether it was just the practicalities of like not doing so well at shows, but I decided in 2012 to stop putting on shows. In 2012 I put it to rest. I did one final show with Our Cities Burn. We celebrated what JXE had become, and I stopped. And that was the year I just worked all the time at Lush. I was moving up through the company, I was progressing in my role, I was just really taking on board everything. It was later that year I found out that I was going to be a dad, and Henry was going to be born in 2013. 2013 was the most challenging time because I had a complete breakdown. I felt like I was losing who I was. I was running away from God, I was running away from my friends, and I was running away from my then wife, and running away from my future son, and things that I absolutely regret, and it ended up breaking down our marriage. And so confessed everything that had gone on. The marriage was over, we separated, and that's never ideal. You don't get married because you want to break up. You don't get married because you think it's quick and easy to get divorced or get separated. As things were coming to an end, I had to really reconcile the fact that I wasn't the person I thought I was. I started another band called Saboteur, and we were a vegan straight edge band, and that seemed to become more important in my life than God did. And so we played some shows, we had some fun, but it was really short-lived. The year after that, 2014, I was really lost. I was so far away from God that everything I tried to do didn't seem to work out. I was going through short relationships, one after the other. I was never meeting the person that I think I was meant to be with long term. I certainly wasn't meeting the person that God had lined up for me. And so it was a really turbulent time. Sad, I was depressed at work, and I just kept going because I knew that Lush was a safe haven for me. I knew I was going to get good things out of that role. I did try and get out of that rut, and I tried to go to as many shows and festivals as I possibly could. I started going to Grows Rock Festival with my friends again, and really experiencing such a good time. I started to branch out a little more and try and find my feet, but you realise quite quickly that you can't find your feet in the things of this earth. I was searching for new churches, and I realised that I did need God on my side if I was going to do this right. When I did find a church in CLM late that year, going in towards 2015, it was a revelation. Starting to engage a little bit more and get involved in the life groups that they had there at the beginning of 2015, that I definitely needed to be single for a good while. I made plans to travel on my own. I made plans to do things on my own. So 2015 I travelled to Iceland. I saw so much of the beauty in the earth. It made me filled with hope. It made me really happy. I couldn't really believe what God had done in the world. After that time of being single and that time of trying to really find who I was, I met my future wife. I met Beth, and everything changed again. She started coming to church with me, to CLM. She started sharing my interests, and we met late in 2015. We had a really lovely Christmas together. We had a great time. In 2016, it was great. I finally realised that I don't need to be spending all my money on shows. I don't need to be spending all my money on records, and I could have this amazing relationship and grow into the person that I'm meant to be. Now, lots changed in that time, and my family will tell you I'm definitely not the person that I used to be. It says in the Bible, in everything you do, do it to the glory of God. And that's something that I've carried with me since I was a teenager, since I was a kid. And I do want to do that. So in 2016, when I started making videos, it was an outlet for that. And that's what I want this to continue to be. My name is Davey, and this is who I am. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please share it with your friends. If it motivated you, please comment below. If you just want to give it a like and a thumbs up, that's amazing. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.